Okay, good afternoon, everyone. My name is Melissa McEntee, and I am here to show you how to create a test with Google Forms. The way I'd like to do this today is to just show you a couple of examples of what it will look like once you get answers back from your students on these forms, so you get a sense of how you may use this in the classroom. The first one I'd like to show you is a simple getting to know you activity. And again, the reason I'm working backwards is so that I can show you what the results will look like. It happens to be a getting to know you activity from someone, a teacher in London, actually, that I copied over just to give you an example. It starts off with the student's name, the class name, favorite subject, least favorite lesson, just different questions to get to know the students at the beginning of the year. It's a great opener for you to start using in September or as students transfer into your class. But think about all of the papers that you would have to sort through to go through 30 or so students and all of their information. This is easy because when we're looking at it this way, we can see very quickly some common features between the students that they're good at. They think they're good at math. We get a lot of interesting feedback from the students that we can all see in one place. You're not sorting through papers, you're not shifting through anything. So let me show you what this would look like on the student's end. On the student's end, they would be looking at something like this. This is a basic short fill-in form where students have blank spaces for them to freely type in their information. And that's one of the formats they can use. I will go over all of the different formats later, but the student simply completes all of this after the teacher fills it in and then submits, and this is what the teacher sees in return. All of the students, all of their information in one place. It gives you a timestamp, it lets you know the exact date and time that students completed it as well. So it's a great tool to keep track of things. I'm going to close this and then go on to our next example. Okay, this is a great starter activity for trying to understand the background knowledge students are coming in with into your classroom on a particular subject. So this happens to be an initial assessment on ancient Egypt. And again, you're seeing the results that the teacher would get back from sending this survey or this form out to students. And basically, this is just asking what do they know about the topic and trying to understand where they fall in terms of how much understanding they have of the subject. So this is a great tool that you could use at the beginning of a lesson, at the beginning of a class period, or at the beginning of a unit or topic, just so that you can try to sense where students are in their initial understanding, and then how to group them into differentiated groups so that you know that you're meeting students' needs appropriately. And again, this is all set up in a very easy way. We can sort it, and I can show you how to do that. If we were to highlight row 1 and then just click on this here to filter, we can see here all of the different things that students thought it meant. Okay, so I see if they left a blank, that's going to worry me. So I'm going to clear all of these and I'm going to look for blank. Okay, that means old, established, incredibly old, really, really old. So it looks like most of our students have some type of an understanding. Let's see what we get back. So we get back, if these were my students, I would understand that this group of students does not have a solid understanding of what the word ancient means, and I would want to set up a small group activity so that they can learn that topic or that skill. I'll select all again, and now I get all of the answers back. And you can sort each individual column so that you get the right information. The next thing I want to show you is a lesson review. So I'm going to close this one out. Oh, actually, you know what? Before I close this out, let me show you what the form looks like for students. And again, it's very simple. They do have ways, and I can show you this in a few moments, where you can create a background, but I would really suggest from the beginning keeping it very simple, using these starter activities to get a sense of where your students are in their current understanding, and then work from there. Just keep it really simple. It doesn't have to look flashy, and you don't have to reinvent the wheel. Let me close this out, and this one as well, and go into the lesson review. This is another great activity. It's a lesson review or an exit ticket, and this just asks the student to assess the lesson, identify what they enjoyed or did not enjoy, and rate themselves on a scale to see how confident they are, or to understand how challenging that activity was. This is great feedback from your students, because not all of our students are very comfortable stating, you know, how confident they are, how challenging the activity was. So this would be a great way to get that feedback right away, and then you know who you need to zero in on, who might need some extra help, or who you can give an accelerated activity to. So let's take a look at what this form looks like. I'm just going to go up to the top here and click on Form, and then I'll go to Live Form. And it shows me what this form looks like, okay? Very easy, a few fill-ins, and then we have a scale. I need lots more practice, please, all the way up to 10, super confident. So this is a great way to assess students as well at the end of each lesson. And it's a great way to get some use of the Chromebook in the classroom, while also getting valuable data that's easy for you to read and easy for you to sort through. So that was another quick activity that you could do. I'm going to close that out. I'll close this out. And this one I happen to really like a lot, because it brings in a different element to assessment, which is looking at a video. So these are the results of the story that students are answering their questions, but I want to show you what the teacher did here, because I think it's actually a great way for us to include different types of media into the classroom to have students think critically and react to the stories that they either see, hear, or experience. So we're going to go to the live form, and I'm going to show you what this looks like. It looks very similar to the other types of forms that we were looking at before. There's some multiple choice this time, and there's also some fill-in. The interesting thing is that this was created in advance. This could be created in a couple of quick minutes. The teacher found a YouTube clip on an animated cartoon that it's just music, and the students have to really watch and pay attention and try to understand and interpret what's happening. There are some ads here in this particular video, but you get the idea. So after students watch that video, then they have to answer some comprehension questions to try to make sure that they understand what the content was about, and the driving force behind the particular elements of the story. Then when the teacher gets this information back, you can see very easily you know, who did not understand you know, what the present, which present the student received. Maybe they hadn't read, you know, watched the video at all. And then you get also their written passages too from those longer essay questions. So that is a great way, I think, that we can incorporate video. Think of it as you know, a quick math lesson on Khan Academy. It could be a quick science related video from Discovery Education. It could be any video on YouTube that you find the video link, put it into your quiz and then send it out to students and get the results back. So that's just another example of a way that you can use this for assessment in the classroom. Again, we're really trying hard to not recreate the wheel, and we're trying to make sure that we are giving students different experiences to normally do what they would do in the classroom, maybe in a notebook, maybe on paper. That's harder for you to collect. It's harder for you to drag home in the big teacher bag that we all have. And grade everything and then send it back. This is quick, it's easy, it's all done through our Google accounts, and it makes it simplifies the process once you get started with it. And all of this can be copied and pasted to create another one, which I'll show you in a moment. This happens to be a response to literature scoring template. So this teacher had created this first name, last name, which marking period is it, which class are you in, select your teacher's name, and then it just goes on to ask specific questions. Was it an on-demand essay? Is it a take-home, self-directed text, or teacher selected? And then the teacher would then go on and score the student's essay. The interesting part about this one, and there are many different ways to use it, but if you chose to use an example like this, and I'll have all these available in a shared folder to send out to everyone as well, the students can paste their entire essay into this one field right here if you wanted to do something like that. So again, it makes it just very easy to get everything in one place. I'm going to close this again too, and I want to go to my Google Drive and show you what your options are to create an assessment or a test or a quiz or some type of entrance or exit ticket of your own. The first thing you'll do is go to your Google Drive. If you're already in your mail, you just hover over this icon. It's the Google Apps icon. Click on it and then go to this icon right here. That is your drive. Once you open up Drive, you will see everything that you have saved already. And if you need a little bit more instruction on Google Drive, you can see my video from yesterday, Google Drive Basics and Organization Tips. It's available on YouTube. So the first thing I want to do is go to New, and then I'm going to scroll down this first menu, and I don't see Google Forms because we have to go to More. Another side menu pops out, and we will select Google Forms. If you're creating a form in a shared folder, it will ask you if you want to set the same permissions. In this case, I do, so I will select OK. Okay, so the first thing I would suggest doing is titling the form. So we are going to call this Chapter 1 Assessment. Click OK. This part up here is very important, and you're going to want to make different adjustments to these selections depending on what type of survey you're putting out or what type of an assessment. This I usually check off require Somerville Public School District login to view this form. That means that the student or staff member, if you're doing a survey, would have to be logged into their Google account in order to see the form. So if you ever send out a form to students and they say they're unable to view it, or they get a message that they can't access it, it's because they're logged into a different Google account and they just have to log into their Somerville Google account. This is another option that you have to automatically collect the Somerville School District username. So that would automatically give you the student's username. So it would give you their email address basically as soon as they log in and submit this this test to you. If you don't do that, you have to make sure that at least question 1 is what is your full name, so that this way you can tell the difference between your students. So if you don't select this one, this first question here should be, what is your name? Show progress bar at the bottom of form pages. This is nice for students, I think, because it helps them understand time management, so they'll know how far along they are in the test, especially if it's lengthy or if their written responses are going to take some time. They know how far along they are during that period. Allow only one response per person. This is something that you may want to use if you only want students to have one opportunity to access the test. You can check and uncheck these items as necessary, because let's say I have a student who completed the test but didn't do so well, and I want them to go back and review their answers for an extra opportunity to really succeed, because that's what it's all about, right? What I would do is I would uncheck this and I would allow that student to submit their answers again. This is another one that's interesting, shuffle question order. So if you're doing this as a whole class assessment, you might want to shuffle the question order, so that this way students don't see the questions in the exact order as the person next to them. So I will select shuffle question order. It's my chapter 1 assessment. And you get your first item here, question title. This could be your question. And since I didn't collect automatically, right, please type your full name. Okay, and obviously this is not going to be a multiple choice question because I want the students to type. So these are all of my options, but I'm going to choose text. And then this way the student will get a box that they can submit their answer in. You're going to want to also choose a required question, this checkbox right here, and that is for any question that you want to make sure students don't skip before they select submit at the end. Anything that is checked off as required, if it is not completed by the student will get an error message when they try to submit, letting them know that they have to go back and correct any areas that are not filled in but are required. So I'll click done. And then you have two options, okay? You can add another item by clicking on this and choosing and ask yourself this. Is my next question going to be a text where I require a short answer? Is it going to be a longer answer? Then I would choose this. If I want multiple choice because there's only one correct answer, obviously I would choose multiple choice. Checkboxes, I'm going to choose if there's more than one correct answer, and I do encourage teachers to use this in your classroom so that students can get a sense of those park-like questions where you do have more than one piece to more than one part to the question, and also more than one answer. Choose from a list is interesting, and I'll show you what that looks like in a moment. That gives you a drop down, but you could also do a scale, a grid, ask for a date or time, and then these are other features that you can use. They're more advanced features. We'll go into that in another video where you can add in images and videos and section headers and things like that. I'm going to close out of that because I want to show you my quick trick. This is what I typically do for most of my most of the forms or surveys or tests that I'm making. I could go back in and edit this. As soon as I hover over the question, it becomes like a gray bar. It means I'm over this question. You also get this blue line over here. And then these three icons will pop up. Your ability to edit, your ability to duplicate, and your ability to delete. Duplicate is my best friend in this scenario, because as soon as I duplicate, this is already highlighted for me. So all I have to do is type, and immediately I have another question. Then I can select what type of answer it's going to be. I might want to keep it as a text, but I also might want to make it a multiple choice. If it's a multiple choice, then I would put my options here. And if I want to choose other, because I want students to be able to write something in, you can choose other, and then they get a blank space. So I'm going to select done and show you what that looks like. So now we have our second question, we have our multiple choice, and if the student selects other, they have to type in their answer there, which is another one I like. This is, I'm going to do my trick again. I'm just going to go to duplicate. And now this will be question 3. But this time I don't want it to be a multiple choice question. This time I would like it to be a choose from a list. The difference about the choose from a list is that it's going to be a drop-down menu. So I want you to see what this looks like when we click done. So the difference, let me just put in a question here. Okay, so this is just a drop-down menu question and answer. So I'll click done. And now this is what that looks like. So the students would read the question here, and then they get a drop-down of the choices that you've selected. I'll show you what it looks like live from the student view in a minute. Let's go on and duplicate again. Okay, 4, and this will be my checkboxes. Okay, and this will have option 4, and we can add other as well. Then I'm going to click done. Okay, so you can see that we have many different types of options. We have our fill-in, we have our multiple choice, and we have our drop-down. So I am actually going to go back and show you how to edit each of these, because I would like to be a little bit more specific and show you these as examples. So this is your fill-in example. This is your multiple choice example. And see how easy it is? You just hover over the one you want to change. When you see that gray box, then you're just going to select the pencil to edit, and that's it. So this is drop-down menu example. Okay. So now you have the different examples of what they'll look. About 7 minutes left, so I want to try to wrap this up and show you what it looks like from the student side, and then what you'll get back as answers. So, but at the bottom, before you finish, you want to go to show link to submit another response. So if you wanted students to be able to submit more than one response, you can select that. Publish and show a link form to form results. If you wanted to take a survey of students and then have them use maybe Google Sheets in order to make some type of graph, you might want to publish the link to show the results so that they can then take that data and make it into something else. It's a great activity for students. And this is a really important one here. Allow responders to edit responses after submitting. So if you have students that you want them to be able to really kind of think about it, you know, maybe there wasn't enough time in class to complete the essay, but it's something that they can do from home. And if we're asking really good questions, it is something that they can do, you know, while they're not in front of us. So we can select that if you want. I'm going to leave that one off for now. And then that's it. We're going to send the form, and here it is. We go to send the form, and this is what I want to do. This is the link to share. I like selecting this because it takes that big, long link, and it makes it something nice and easy for students. So I'm just going to Control-C to copy, select done. And then this asks you where you want to put the response destination. You can choose either in a new spreadsheet or in an existing spreadsheet, because that's going to pull all the data and I'm going to choose a new spreadsheet, and it's called Chapter 1 Assessment Responses. So this way I know exactly where it is. I select Create. And now let me show you what the live form looks like. If I'm the student, let me go to my student page over here. I'm going to paste that in. Here's my Chapter 1 assessment. We have our multiple choice example. I'm going to select option 2. Our checkbox example. See how you can select more than one in the multiple choice. It's only one answer. Your drop-down menu and your fill-in. Select submit. The student will select submit. And then if I switch back to when I switch back to where I edited my test, I can see that I have one response. I go to view responses, and here are my answers. Okay, so we have a lot of different options here when creating tests. You could even go in and move things around. In this case, because I chose to shuffle the question order, we're going to see my fill-in example first. So I happen to see it last. In the order that you'll see it in this view is exactly the way you selected it, although students may see this one first or second or third. It's going because it's shuffling because we selected that. Okay, the last thing that I'd like to do is we're not going to get into changing the theme or looking at different colors, but I do want to show you this. Your options too. Right now we have this selected edit questions. This is where you could change the theme, but we'll do that another time. This is where you can select to view responses, and it's going to pop you right out to your Google Sheet with all the answers. And then you can also go to view the live form. I like to view the live form because it shows students it'll show you what it looks like to students. And I'm very glad that I did that because I just made a mistake. I wonder if you're sitting at home if you can tell what it is. I selected to shuffle the order of the questions, but I numbered my questions. So students will see that. So I need to go back and edit because I do not want those numbers there since the questions will be shuffled. So I'm just going to go back in, edit each, and take out that. Keep going. See, sometimes it's good, you know what, I think it's always good to make mistakes and then kind of work your way back. Technology is not a perfect science, so you have to be okay with making mistakes and then just learning from them. And, you know, often, see, that mistake I just made will hopefully help all of you not make the same one. So here we go. We have our questions. They're not numbered anymore. They're going to show up in a different order for every single student. Just to recap, starting in Google Drive, first thing you're going to do is select New. Then you'll scroll down to More and look for the secondary menu that shows Google Forms. You will click on that to create a new form and move from there. What I would suggest doing though, once you make your first form, you can definitely just go to File and make a copy. And I could have all of my starter activities set up before students even start filling them in with a different link for each, ready to go before we even hit that topic just by making a copy. So that is one quick tip for you to make a copy and just make things easier for you as you move throughout. There are lots of different answer choices and question types. I will do an advanced version of this where I show how to change the theme, add video, and add different types of media in, including pictures and diagrams, but that is for another day. Our time is almost out, or time is almost up, I should say. So the last thing I just want to remind everyone This is a great tool that you can use to collect data from students, whether it be survey data, personal data, parents' addresses, things like that, phone numbers, information about class trips, or also your assessments, especially your assessments at the beginning of a lesson and at the end of a lesson. I encourage you to just start small, even if you just start with those entrance and exit activities to get students used to using the Chromebook in class, and to give you an opportunity to know what your students already understand as they walk through your door before you begin the lesson. That can be a really, really helpful tool, and also to see what they've learned along the way at the end of the lesson. I definitely would start there. I think that's a great place to start, and then you can work into starting to create your tests that you would normally give to students on paper, to put them in here too, so that you're getting them back in a very simple to read spreadsheet. Just remind you what that spreadsheet looks like, where you have all of your information right in front of you right there. And we can save some money on those chiropractor bills, because we won't be bringing home so many pounds and pounds of papers to grade all year long. Okay, so that is it. I will have other opportunities for you to see specific types of tests later on. But thank you so much for joining me. If you have questions about anything or feedback on ways that I can make these sessions better, please feel free to reach out. I would love to hear from you. And tomorrow's broadcast, I'm actually going to do this afternoon, but you can watch it anytime after I finish it. So thank you very much for being here. I hope everyone's enjoying their vacation, and enjoy the rest of your day.